Have you ever wondered how small, impulsive decisions can spiral into life-changing consequences? From messages that pushed someone over the edge to a hidden life of lies ending in murder, and even a tragic alligator attack over frisbees, these stories reveal how one wrong choice can lead to unforgettable events. Stay tuned as we dive into the lives affected by decisions that went terribly wrong, showing how even a split-second choice can echo far beyond what we might ever imagine. 1. The tragic case of Conrad Roy and Michelle Carter. Can words alone drive someone to commit suicide? In 2014, 18-year-old Conrad Roy was struggling with depression. His long-distance girlfriend, Michelle Carter, encouraged him through a series of chilling text messages to end his life. Carter, just 17 at the time, knew Roy's fragile mental state and still urged him to act on his suicidal thoughts. The situation reached a tragic climax when Roy was in his truck, filling it with carbon monoxide. He had second thoughts and stepped out of the vehicle, but Carter texted him, "Get back in." Investigations began after Roy's suicide, and when police examined his phone, they uncovered Carter's texts urging him to go through with it. In court, Carter's defense argued she was young and unwell herself, but the prosecution revealed that she texted friends, boasting about her influence over Roy. In 2017, she was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and served a reduced sentence. Her case went on to spark debates on cyberbullying, mental health, and the limits of free speech. Michelle Carter's decision to manipulate a vulnerable individual led to devastating consequences. In 2024, Carter has since been released but remains a cautionary symbol of how words can indeed kill. 2. A final attempt at freedom. As U.S. forces began leaving Afghanistan in 2021, desperate civilians flocked to the airport, hoping to escape Taliban rule. After one Air Force cargo plane landed, its crew decided it would be safer to take off without unloading. At least 2 people made it into the plane's wheel well, but tragically, they fell from the aircraft during takeoff. Video footage captured the harrowing moment, showing 2 individuals plummet to their deaths as horrified onlookers watched. One of the victims, Zaki Anari, called his family before the flight, telling them he was going to America. Despite their pleas for him to return, Zaki was determined to escape. The other victim was a newly dentist named Fawad Mohammad, who feared losing everything when the city fell to the Taliban. While Zaki and Fawad died in the incident, human remains found in the plane's wheel well suggested there may have been even more people trying to escape. 3. Woman kicks cop during traffic stop. In October 2022, Miranda Fairchild was pulled over by police in Struthers, Ohio, for driving erratically with a broken headlight. When officers approached her vehicle, Fairchild grew combative, reportedly striking an officer in the chest through her open car window. As they tried to place her in the patrol car, she continued resisting, kicking one officer in the thigh and groin area. After she was secured in the cruiser, she continued to act out, kicking the partition inside the vehicle and banging her head on the rear window. Her behavior during the incident resulted in multiple charges, including felony assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, and driving on a suspended license. 4. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the murder of D.D. Blanchard. How far would you go to escape a life of lies? Gypsy Rose Blanchard's life was a nightmare hidden behind the mask of an attentive mother. Her mother, D.D., convinced doctors and everyone around them that Gypsy was severely ill, suffering from leukemia, muscular dystrophy, and more. Gypsy, however, was completely healthy. Dee Dee's extreme form of Munchausen syndrome by proxy kept Gypsy a prisoner in her own life. In 2015, desperate for freedom, Gypsy enlisted the help of her online boyfriend, Nick Godejohn, to kill her mother. After Dee Dee was found dead, an investigation revealed the years of abuse Gypsy had endured. At trial, Gypsy was convicted of second-degree murder but received a reduced sentence due to her mother's abuse. 5. Hostage victim accused of faking it. In 2015, Matt Yusman and his mother, Lynn Yusman, were taken hostage in their Bristol, Connecticut home by masked intruders. The assailants strapped what appeared to be a C4 bomb with a timer around Matt's chest and demanded he rob his workplace while they stayed behind with his mother. They warned that if he didn't return with the money by a certain time, the device would detonate. During the robbery attempt, Matt called his boss, asking him to have the vault open and not to involve the police. However, his boss called the authorities, and police arrived, surrounding Matt in the credit union parking lot. A bomb squad carefully removed the device just minutes before the timer was supposed to end. It was later revealed that the bomb was fake. Meanwhile, upon learning the police were involved, the intruders abandoned the home, leaving Lynn physically unharmed. Suspicion soon fell on Matt, as his supervisors and law enforcement questioned whether he might have staged the incident. They cited his perceived gambling issues, inconsistencies during a polygraph, explained by his lawyer as trauma effects, and his mother's description of the intruders as polite. The scrutiny deeply affected Matt, who faced potential legal consequences and job suspension. After a year, the FBI linked Matt's case to similar incidents across the country targeting bank employees. Authorities discovered that the assailants used social media to gather personal information, helping them monitor their targets. Ex-cons Brian Witham and Michael Benanti, who had met in prison, were eventually apprehended. Benanti was sentenced to 4 life terms plus 155 years, while Witham received 42 years in exchange for his cooperation. This resolution ultimately cleared Matt and his mother of any wrongdoing. 6. The tragic case of Kenneth and Carrie Stall. What happens when love and betrayal collide in a fatal decision? Kenneth Stall was a successful California anesthesiologist with a dark secret. He wanted his wife, Carrie, dead. The Stalls seemed to have it all. But beneath the surface, Kenneth had grown infatuated with another woman and decided to take deadly action. In 1999, he hired a hitman to kill Carrie, intending to start a new life with his lover. The plan, however, went tragically wrong when the hitman mistakenly shot and killed both Kenneth and Carrie in a remote part of California. The police initially struggled to piece together the motive, but as they investigated Kenneth's life, the truth emerged: Kenneth's extramarital affairs, his elaborate scheme, and the attempt to pin Carrie's death on a random act of violence. The case drew national attention, serving as a grim reminder of how secrets and betrayal can lead to fatal mistakes. 7. The Robert Durst mystery: wealth, lies, and murder. How does a wealthy man manage to escape justice for decades despite being tied to multiple deaths? Robert Durst, heir to a real estate fortune, was a man who seemingly had it all, except a conscience. His story is one of privilege, deception, and poor decisions that led him to become one of the most notorious figures in true crime. The mystery began in 1982 when his first wife, Kathy, disappeared under suspicious circumstances. Years later, his close friend Susan Berman was found murdered after allegedly helping Durst cover up his wife's disappearance. Then, in 2001, Durst's neighbor, Morris Black, was found dismembered, with Durst claiming it was self-defense. Durst's downfall came from his decision to participate in the 2015 HBO documentary The Jinx, where he was famously recorded saying, "What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course." This apparent confession led to his arrest and conviction for Berman's murder in 2021, just before his death in 2022. His bizarre, violent actions shocked the nation, illustrating how poor decisions can haunt even the wealthiest and most protected. 8. The murder of Skylar Jenkins. Friends turn killers. Can a small argument with friends ever lead to something far darker? In 2012, 16-year-old Skylar Jenkins from West Virginia went missing after sneaking out to meet her 2 best friends, Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy. For months, her family searched desperately, believing her to be in hiding or abducted. Eventually, the truth surfaced when Rachel, consumed by guilt, confessed to police that she and Sheila had lured Skylar into the woods and killed her, all because, as they later admitted, they just didn't like her anymore. The investigation revealed chilling details of premeditation. Rachel and Sheila had planned the murder meticulously, even bringing knives and a shovel. The public was horrified by the senseless cruelty of the murder, and both girls were sentenced to prison. This case shocked the nation and raised questions about adolescent relationships, peer pressure, and unchecked impulses. 9. The case of Jennifer Pan, the deadly lies of a model daughter. How far would you go to escape your family's expectations? Jennifer Pan grew up in a strict, high-achieving Vietnamese-Canadian family where her parents expected excellence in everything. When she started to struggle academically, Jennifer lied, telling her parents she had been accepted into a prestigious university. But as the web of lies grew, she became desperate to escape their control. In 2010, Jennifer made a drastic and horrific choice. She hired hitmen to kill her parents. The plan went terribly wrong. Jennifer's father survived, identifying her as the mastermind behind the attack. Investigations uncovered her motive and meticulous planning, revealing her deep resentment toward her parents. At trial, Jennifer received a life sentence, and her story became a cautionary tale about the perils of deception and the consequences of trying to escape through violence. 10. Looking for frisbees. In May 2022, the body of 47-year-old Sean Thomas McGinnis was discovered at Taylor Lake in Largo, Florida, after a suspected fatal encounter with an alligator. McGinnis, who frequently searched for frisbees near the disc golf course surrounding the lake, was known to wade into the water to retrieve lost discs. Despite posted warnings about the presence of alligators, McGinnis ventured into the lake at night, a decision that likely decreased his visibility and increased his risk. The next morning, around 8:00 a.m., a passerby with a dog found McGinnis's body near the water. The discovery of missing limbs suggested a violent alligator attack. The county medical examiner later confirmed that he had drowned as a result of injuries inflicted during the encounter. In response, wildlife authorities captured and euthanized an alligator from Taylor Lake to confirm any involvement. This incident, one of several in Florida's high alligator population areas, underscores the serious risks posed by disregarding alligator warnings, particularly in low visibility conditions. In the end, even small choices can shape our lives in ways we never expect, often with devastating consequences for everyone involved. If you found these stories compelling, subscribe and watch our next video for more true life tales that shock and intrigue.